everybody. All right. Everybody that came with the march, we're right over here. We're rallying over here. We're going to have a few words from a few people to drill our issues home and make sure everybody understand what we came out here for. This is a labor march. We came out here to denounce systematic racism, nepotism, cronyism, favoritism, everything you can think of within the city and state agencies. Stop letting the mayor lie to you. The Blasio, you cannot keep hiding behind a few words written on the street calling it Black Lives Matter. You can't hide behind your wife. You can't hide behind your son's afro. You can't hide behind your daughter. The buck stops with you. You talk that all lives matter, but you have done nothing for your city employees. You oppressed them. You constantly denied them a quality of life that they deserve. You put us out there as essential workers. Now you want to reward us by laying off 22,000 essential workers. That's a thanks first. But we're here today to let you know, we're going to let the world know. We're going to keep talking about it. We're going to keep raising our voices until you do what you're supposed to do and give us what we rightfully deserve. You keep talking about sin. That's right. You keep talking about fairness. You keep talking about we're waiting on Donald Trump. You the leader. The buck stops with you, de Blasio. The buck stops with you. So we just want everybody to know that we are here because we are essential workers, we are city and state workers. And I wanted you to know how mistreated we are being treated in the workplace. Don't believe the hype. Don't believe that we live in luxury. Don't believe that we're living in luxury. Don't believe the hype. A lot of city and state workers, like I said, are staying in homeless shelters. You have a lot of city workers who need public assistance for their families. Meanwhile, he gives the elite people in the city all the money, all the perks, and all the cops. That ain't right. We know it ain't right. Thank you. That absolutely ain't right. And we lost thousands of people in the pandemic who were essential workers. And know what he said? Thank you. And then to top it off, he wants to lay off 22,000 of them. After we done went out there, sacrificed our lives, sacrificed our families, sacrificed everything that we worked hard for, and now they want to take it away. You want to take it away from organized labor. You want to take it away from the union workers that get up every day and sacrifice themselves. And we're here today to say no more. We're here today to say no more. No more. No more. No more. That's right. District Council 37, DC 37, is the only union that the city actually negotiates with. Everyone else got to take the crumbs. But you don't hear about that. You hear that unions getting 3% raises. But what is 3% if you're making 30,000? Compared to someone who's making 100,000 and get 3%. That's $3,000 a year. The $30,000 person, only about $300. City workers are working in a city that they can't hardly afford to live in. It's an atrocity. And people need to know it. And people need to rally behind it. People's yelling out taking essential workers. And some essential workers had no home to go home to. People was thanking essential workers for all the work that they did, not knowing when they got home they barely had food to eat. And most times they were forced. They were literally threatened and forced to work in these conditions with no thanks whatsoever. So this is what the city has done, and we just wanted to make sure our voices be heard and everybody understand what we're going through. And people say, well, it's not just about police brutality. It's still a lynching. It's an economic lynching. It's a financial lynching. It's a quality of life lynching. No matter how you look at it, it's a lynching. And it's wrong. And we must straighten it out. Thank you, everybody, for listening.
Thank you. Good job. Good job. Introduce.
Well said.
Introduce.
Anybody?
You can take this off or you can leave it on. How you want to do it?
I guess I'll leave it on. How about
My name is Jeff Deskovic. I'm a criminal justice advocate. I spent 16 years in prison from age 17 to 32 before DNA demonstrated my innocence 14 years ago while identifying the actual perpetrators. My life is about fighting to prevent wrongful conviction, to free others who have been wrongfully convicted, and other criminal justice reform issues and injustices. I have a nonprofit I named after me, the Jeffrey Deskovic Foundation for Justice. We've been able to free 7 wrongfully convicted people in 7 years, and we passed 3 laws in New York to help prevent wrongful conviction. Better identification procedures, videotaping interrogation, DNA data bank expansion. I'm part of a coalition called It Could Happen to You, which has helped pass a law in New York preventing, it's an oversight board for prosecutorial misconduct. We then passed a tweak to that, the first one in the country. Our effort now is to repass that because the DAs wanted no oversight, they wanted no accountability, so they challenged the law. The judge rejected their legal challenge, found a small problem in the appellate procedure, so we're in the process of repassing that. We helped pass a procedure pertaining to discovery reform, sharing information between the defense and the prosecution. So real quickly, my points that I want to make to add to all this is this. Police brutality, unjustifiable deadly police force, framing people, wrongful conviction, rigging lineups, using lying informants, coercing false confessions, that's all part of police misconduct. We can't let wrongful conviction get left behind or these other issues amidst the correct attention on the brutality and deadly police force. We have to continue to look at everything as a whole. On that note, let's not forget about the prosecutors. It's the prosecutors, when they engage in misconduct, they're working hand in glove with the cops.
Oh, yeah. Oh, yeah.
They're the ones
Absolutely.
who are using evidence that the cops gather in violation of our constitutional rights.
Absolutely.
They're the ones prosecuting defendants who are beat up by the cops, and to cover their crimes, they charge assault. It's the prosecutors who are prosecuting unjustifiably. It's the prosecutors using those lineups that have rigged information in it where the ideas are not legit. They're the ones using coerced false confessions. They're allowing the police to test the lie and get away with it. They're using lying informants. So we need to have that commission on prosecutive conduct repassed.
Yeah, absolutely. Absolutely.
So what I want to say to law enforcement and to the prosecutors, for the ones dedicated to doing their job, to the ones that are not rogue, to the ones that are not engaged in misconduct, turn on the other ones. Blow the whistle. You like to tell the public, if you see something, say something. What about the members in your department? What about the co-workers?
That's
When
right.
they cross the line, when they become not the cops but the criminals, they're not one of you anymore. Turn on them. Until that starts to happen, we're not going to have an accurate justice system, and the people are not going to have faith in the justice system. How can they with the way that things are now? And the last point I want to make is this. When a police officer is killed, the cops turn out deep. They march, there's police cars, It's a huge thing. It should be. It should be a huge thing. But my question is this. Where's all that when citizens are killed unjustifiably by police in Florida? Where's all that, man?
Yeah, exactly.
Where's all that when the brutality goes on? Isn't that only the police lives matter?
No.
What about the citizens? What about labor? What about essential workers? What about Black Lives Matter? Because until it's a big enough deal to them, when one of us is victimized, just as much as it is when it happens to them, until that happens, it's a clear message that only their lives matter. And there's not going to be any type of community rapport with law enforcement. How can there be? I call on the honest people that are working in those positions. Again, when you see corruption, when you see something going on that's wrong, out them. Say something about it. That's your job. You're there to enforce the laws. We'll do it on everybody. Thank you very much.
There you go. Yeah. That's right. That's right.